Hello, my friends. Katie Day with the Move Me to Texas team here with another episode of the Real Advice podcast. Really excited for this week's guest. I first met them in Austin, Texas at a real estate mastermind. He moved to Austin in 2013 and quickly got into real estate. His commitment to his clients and love for his profession and personal approach to real estate transactions have given him an edge in a highly competitive industry and specifically market. He's within the top 1% of Austin realtors and prides himself on his team's top-notch marketing and branding, which we will dig into today. Their team's commitment to serve their clients at the highest level and his philanthropic efforts, not only in Austin, but beyond in the world. Excited to dig in with this week's guest. So please join me in welcoming my good friend Wade. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, wow, that was such a nice introduction. Thank you so much. Made my morning. Well, just, market's still crazy, crazy busy. Interest rates haven't seemed to have caught up with us here in Austin yet. And so it's still a tremendous amount of demand, and we're just incredibly busy, but very fortunate for that business and excited to keep things rolling.
Yeah, for sure. So for those that may not know you, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Wade Giles. I moved to Austin, like you said, in 2013. I was working in another industry, and real estate was something that was always interesting to me, and I've always been passionate about. I love architecture, I love design, but more importantly, I love people. And I love being of service and helping people make their dreams come true with finding them the perfect home or selling their home for an amount of money that they never thought possible. It's just a fun and very rewarding career. And so that's what drew me to real estate. I got my license at the end of 2013 and started with my brokerage, Moreland Properties, at January 1st. 14. I showed
Easy
my
to
very
remember.
first,
Easy to remember.
yeah, because I had to show property on New Year's Day, and I had never done it before, and I was so terrified. Thankfully, we only looked at 2 properties, and both listing agents met us there and showed us around because I didn't know what I was doing. So
you're just sitting like smiling with a folder. You're like, "There's nothing in this folder. I'm just here. I don't know what I'm doing."
That's exactly right.
That's hilarious. One of my first clients when I first got into real estate, like I always had issue with the super boxes, and it was like never my fault. It would be like the Bluetooth connection wouldn't work, or like it would be a combo lockbox and like one of the keys would be stuck. And I think they just thought that I was not very bright, and I wish I could go back now and like, help them out now because it was bad. It was really bad.
Well, it's bad when you're taking clients around and you've just moved to town 6 months prior. Meanwhile, they went to college here and have lived here for the past decade. And they're like, "Oh, you should have turned the other way." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, of course I should have."
Scenic route.
And I remember when those Bluetooth lockboxes came out, they had just come out, and I didn't realize you had to push the bottom to activate it. And I was sitting there for like 30 minutes trying to open this lockbox. Finally got on the phone with support, and they're like, "Did you press the bottom?" I'm like, "Oh, shoot, no."
Like, "Oh yeah, let me reset it." Yep. Okay, no, I get that that's a total problem. Okay, yeah. All right, so kind of on that note, what advice would you give to a brand new agent just got their license and they're starting today? What would be your advice to them?
My advice to them would be envision what type of client you want to be working with and where you feel comfortable. Not everyone is meant to sell farm and ranch. Not everyone is meant to sell downtown condos, and not everyone's meant to sell luxury real estate. And if you are intimidated or feel like this isn't the path where you want to go or feel most comfortable and confident in, don't start there. Real estate's hard to get your foot in the door. And so, don't try to bite off more than you can chew right away, and understand that it takes time and that your efforts today, you will not see matriculate for at least 90 days from now. So you've got to be patient. And the other thing I would recommend, because I did not do this, was setting up systems and processes and procedures. My CRM was in my head and kind of in an Excel spreadsheet for at least 5 years. And because things were so busy, and
Yeah.
the last thing I could think about was adding a new system, because when am I going to have the time to learn it? And I could have saved myself a lot of trouble had I just implemented those things in the beginning.
Well, and really, like, how many deals did fell through the cracks because you're like, oh, I'm gonna remember to send them those properties, or I'm gonna remember to call them later, and you didn't. I feel as if I have a good memory, and I know there's stuff that fell through the cracks because I wasn't using my CRM. So
Yeah.
I know now in your career, in 2022, you and your team do a lot of luxury listings, but I mean, you sell in all price points. At this point, really everything in Austin seems to be a luxury price point because of the, appreciation we've seen over the past
Yeah.
few years. But, is that kind of where you started, just through your brokerage, or did you work your way up to that? What did that look like?
You know, we lived in when we first moved to Austin, we rented for the first year while we were kind of trying to figure out what part of town we wanted to live in. I was very hesitant to just pull the trigger on a property and then realize that I didn't want to live in that area of town, and then we're stuck with this property. So we rented for a year, and right when we moved to Austin, we rescued our dog Sport, who just turned 9, which is crazy, but we rescued him. And so everyone in the building knew Sport because he was the cutest puppy in the entire world. And so I did a direct mail piece to my building talking about that I was in real estate and could help them find a property. And I put a photo of Sport and I, because no one knew who I was, but everyone knew who Sport was. And started getting phone calls from people within my building. So I was able to help them. Fortunately for me, my first couple of clients were looking in a higher price point. I mean, I think at the time it was like $800,000, which, that same house today is $2 million. But, and basically my first couple of clients, the second client that I met was actually at a bar I knew like 3 people in Austin when I moved here, and one of them was moving away. So I went to their going away party and met some people, and actually they're clients today, to this day, more than clients, friends. We travel with one another. I'm actually selling their parents' property right now. So, but met them there randomly, gave them my card. 3 weeks later, they called me, said they wanted to start looking at houses. And it just was that simple. So after I had a few clients under my belt, I asked them if they would be willing to do a testimonial video for me, and hired a production company and invested a decent chunk of money into that video, which is still randomly sometimes on the internet today, but I promoted it like crazy through social media channels. Now, that was back in the day when Facebook and Instagram algorithm, I don't even think I was on Instagram, but Facebook algorithms weren't as complex as they are today. And so it was a lot easier to promote video. And I started gaining some legitimacy and credibility, even though I really didn't have any, based off of my social media presence, and things kind of went from there. I mean, when I got into this business, I had no intention of selling luxury real estate. I just wanted to help people find homes. And then it kind of somewhat naturally, maybe a little bit of luck, maybe it was just the area of town that I was living in. And I started to meet some other people that started to invite us to charity events and things like that. So it was very easy for me to kind of meet some of these people. And then I had an agent say, well, it's the same paperwork on, one price house versus another. It's the same thing, essentially. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. But I've always been very sensitive to just getting pigeonholed just into the luxury space, because look, at the end of the day, if you're only selling multi-million dollar houses, when there's a downturn in the market, you need to diversify your portfolio, in my opinion, to keep deals going in the hard times. And also, I just want to help people. So it's twofold. So we do work with a little bit of both.
I feel like a couple things here. My takeaway is you need to go to every party you're invited to, because clearly, Wade's over here just picking up clients.
That's right.
And then obviously using your pets in your marketing, always a winner. But yeah, I think those are my 2 main takeaways that I wrote down over here. So hopefully people are taking notes. It is crazy when you kind of were talking your timeline of like moving in 2013, getting into real estate, January 1, 2014. I'm like, okay, he closes the deal and he puts out a video like 2014, 2015. Like that must have gone crazy. Today, you would have to put like thousands of dollars behind advertising to get views on it. So
That's right.
that was probably such a great marketing piece. Because I mean, I feel like now the video testimonial is something that's a pretty common. It's still
Right.
not like commonplace, but it's a lot more common today than it was, back in 2014, 2015. So
Oh, for
awesome
sure.
job
For
there for
sure.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was the first agent in Austin to do like a well-produced testimonial video that wasn't just a virtual walkthrough of a property,
Yeah.
and as you know, the digital marketing game continues to change and the bar continues to be, set higher and higher and higher. We dedicate a day a month at least to film with a production company that comes in, and we will film, depending on, every month is a little bit different. Sometimes we film 2, maybe even 3 listings in one day. Other times we do collateral on the team and who we are as individuals and our favorite neighborhoods. Another time we might rent out a studio and have clients do client testimonials. I mean, all those different things. So it's all a little bit different. And then we have some highly produced content to deliver and trickle out through our social media channels throughout the month, and then also on YouTube and our website and so on and so forth. So
yeah, and I know just by following you on Instagram and seeing you online and just being involved in some of the same, communities and stuff like that, like I think social media has played a huge part in your brand. So I guess what advice would you give to an agent? Like most agents, if they're just starting out, probably don't have a production company budget, right? So what would be kind of like your things of like, hey, just starting out, these are the things you should do, and like how is kind of your brand and social media played into your brand?
yeah, you're right. Not everyone. I mean, I'm fortunate to be able to get to that point. But to be honest with you, I didn't hire a production company until this past year, or about less than a year ago. So it is something that you have to graduate up to because it is expensive. But if you live near a local university, talking to some of the like the Department of Film, or social media or broadcast journalism. I mean, digital content doesn't have to be an overly produced thing every single time. In fact, you need to have some diversity in your content. Another recommendation is that you can reach out to different studios that already have cameras. They already have, a beautiful, backdrop with different sets, and go over there and you can pay them hourly to film and edit content for reels and so on and so forth. And maybe it's just talking about the market or different advice to buyers and sellers. That can all be done for much less expensive than going out on location with a crew. So, but even if that's too much to ask, you still have your iPhone and you can buy a ring light for not that much money. It's just being creative and also be authentic to who you are. I know everyone says it's like so rhetorical, be authentic and be yourself, but like, you're probably not going to see me doing a TikTok dance. Like, that's probably not something that I'm going to do. Maybe, I don't know if it's a really cool dance.
Never say never.
I'm a terrible dancer and it's just not, but you might see me do other like funny, hilarious things, or serious content, as well. So just, I'm not, while I do sell luxury, I think sometimes people think that that's like a totally closed off, serious, like, agent. And that's just not who I am. And my clients seem to be totally okay with that.
Yeah. And that's, I think that like getting comfortable, like just using your phone and getting comfortable talking direct to camera and, recording and things like that is really good to do before you go hire the videographer. Because, they do, as you increase the quality, they do tend to get expensive. And if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, it's really difficult to, for you and the videographer to pay that much money, to try to shoot content.
Yeah.
So I know that you have a team now. When did you decide
Yeah.
to start your team?
Really, the team started. So when I started in real estate, I was obviously by myself for the longest time. It took me a couple of years before I hired a part-time assistant, and then eventually hired a full-time assistant. But it wasn't until about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, when I was like, man, I am drowning. It was me, an assistant, and then I had Matt, who was like a buyer's agent, helping me, but it was still very much about me and my brand. And it just got to a point where I wasn't able to meet the demands that we had coming in, and we needed more capacity. And quite frankly, I didn't want it to always be coming back to me. You know, I get flooded with calls and text messages and emails that Matt or anyone else on the team are perfectly capable of answering. So how do we do that? We changed our brand from Wade Giles to the Giles Group. And I have taken the approach of celebrating those agents, and I want them to be on video, and I want them to have their own content out there underneath the Giles Group, so that people feel like they get to know them as well and feel comfortable calling them, because we're all different personalities and not everyone is the right fit for one another, but we probably have someone on the team that'd be a perfect fit for you.
Yeah.
So to work with. Yeah. So,
Um,
and so we brought on, since then there's myself and currently 2 other buyer's agents, an operations manager. I have an executive assistant, and then we have a COO who does all of our financials and works on our digital, does all of our operations as well with the operations manager, and works with our digital advertising and marketing campaigns as well. So yeah,
awesome. Sounds like you've got a great group. Mm-hmm. So I know that it's been a super complicated market, really, for agents across the country over the past year and a half. But I feel like Austin has its own challenges, between, rising prices, extremely low inventory, and then just like tons of people moving to Austin, right?
Yeah.
So what, I know we talked about this some when I was in Austin. We've talked about it recently in Dallas, obviously spending some time together there as well, and just different masterminds and stuff like that. What do you feel like are some things that have brought your team success, or creative things that y'all do in order to get people in homes over the past year and even before that?
Yeah. So when I first got into real estate, I thought that the best way for me to represent my clients was to be combative and a little bit aggressive, and I quickly realized, like probably my 3rd transaction, so thankfully it was pretty quick for me, that being an asshole is not going to help me get anything done. You catch more, bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And that like kind of aggressive, combative behavior was really just due to my own insecurity of not knowing what the heck I was doing. And so I made a conscious decision, and that also is just not me as a person, to be combative and aggressive. That's just not the way I like to operate. So I felt like I was being disingenuous to myself as well. So I changed my tune, and I have just been try to be a super nice guy and be super organized with my transactions, and people in the other agents in the community know that I've got well-qualified clients. I know how to do a transaction quickly and as painlessly as possible. And I'm also a resource for other agents in our community. I mean, it's not uncommon for someone to need some off-market data, or to for like an appraisal, or want to know if there's something new that's coming up on the market. Sometimes it's not my listing. Someone will say, like, look, I know you work in this area a lot. Do you know of anything that's this? I'm like, oh, call so-and-so. They just called me the other day to tell me that this was coming on. Yeah. So I don't have a buyer for it. You go for it. And so just being willing to help, in viewing this market as I think you can look at the world with a lens of abundance and a lens of scarcity. I choose to look through abundance, and that there's plenty for all of us to go around. And so that comes back to me in tenfold, because I cannot tell you how many times, or I'm writing an offer for a buyer on a listing, and sometimes I don't even know the agent, but they have, my reputation has preceded itself. I think that's the way you say that. And they want to work with us. And so they'll call me and say, Wade, listen, I need you to, tighten your option period or come up another X amount of dollars. And I think we can make this work. I mean, it happens very often. So it's paid, it's paid for itself tenfold just by not being a jerk.
Moral of the story, don't be an asshole.
Yeah. And then also, like, agents are also more willing to send people to our listings because they know that we're going to be good to work with. And when we hold broker opens, we get a bunch of agents that want to come in and just to come say hello.
Yeah.
So it's been super beneficial.
And you have those listings that you see the listing agent and your buyer's like, this is the one, we have to see it. And you pull it up and you're like, all right, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell them, I'm like, look, let's go see it. I just want to let you know if this is the one, we're in for a bumpy ride. I'll take care of it, but I just want you to know it's not going to be most likely not going to be a smooth transaction. So, AKA, please find something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. The same things happen here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I know over the past, I guess, year or so and getting to know you, that you enjoy giving back and tie a lot of your philanthropy, to your home sales and production and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool because everyone says that they like to give back and they like to, focus in on their community and do things. But like a lot of people don't actually put that into practice. So tell me about some of the initiatives that you guys are currently spearheading on the charitable side.
Yeah. Very, very excited about this. So for fun, it's almost like a part-time job. I ride horses competitively, and that's been something. It's been a passion of mine since I was a little kid, and it's really cool. Like my parents could never afford for me to own a horse or anything like that, but this career has allowed me to kind of be able to afford to live out my childhood dreams. So I know a lot of people in the horse industry, and one of my friends has started a charity called the Heart That Gives Foundation, and they build homes. Well, they build schools and orphanages in South Africa. And so I was talking with her back in November, and she said that they were raising money for a little boy who was aging out of the orphanage system and didn't have any place to go, but he had been in the orphanage since he was 5 years of age. He was like 16 years old, and it was time for him to transition out of the orphanage. But he still had no family, but he knows that village. So the village, they raised some money and we're building him a home. So we were able to complete the end of his funding for him. And then I said, what if we were to do this every 10 transactions? For every 10 homes that we sell here in Austin, we build a home in South Africa. And we just started that this year. We have 4 homes under construction right now. We're very, very excited. I've been getting updates from South Africa, and it's amazing. I mean, they dig these trenches by hand. There's no machinery. And I asked my friend, the director, if we could, help assist with that, so they weren't having to be so labor intensive. And the people feel as though by using machines, they're not working hard enough. And they want to put it's like a labor of love. So
yeah,
really, really excited. These people, just the idea of flipping on a light switch is unbelievable to them. And so we're super excited. I plan to go there in the fall and to go see it for the first time in person.
That's really cool. I'm excited to see obviously the updates and things like that as you go out there. So that's really exciting, and that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, thanks. And then we're gonna have plaques. We have plaques that are being made right now that will have every transaction, the first names of those people on the front of the house that supported that individual. So it's kind of cool. And I was intentional about not making it like for every $1 million that we, like for every million, we're going to do whatever. I didn't want to do it like that. So it's every 10 homes. So no matter the price point, you are still contributing to a home for someone who needs it the most.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. On a different note, let's switch gears a little bit. If you weren't selling real estate, what would you be doing?
Gosh, I don't know. I haven't had to think about that for a while. I think it'd be fun to be like a event planner or an interior designer. I like curating. I like bringing people together. I think that would be kind of fun. I would also love to have been a horse trainer, but I'm not talented enough to do that. So I'll just ride horses that someone else trains for me.
That's how I kind of feel about we're retraining our dog right now on walking on a
Uh-huh.
leash because she's been like pulling a lot, and my husband's been doing a really great job of training her. But I've
That's
been walking her according to the plan of the, training and taking her in
yeah.
figure eights and all the things. So,
Oh yeah. Yep. I've got one that pulls a little bit, but we got that gentle leader, and he responds well to that one. So
what's
the little
that?
one, it goes over it's like a little loop that goes over their nose.
Okay.
Anyway, it's called a gentle leader. It's
Gotcha.
worked really, really well for
We,
him.
we just did the harness and the connector to the leash is on the front.
Mm,
So like she can't really pull because it like kind of pulls her. So she has to walk like
yeah.
normal.
Uh-huh.
So we went on. So normally when we take like a 45-minute walk, it's like almost 2 miles. But of course, most of that's like me being pulled. And
Uh-huh.
mind you, she's 20 pounds. So it's not like I'm really being pulled that hard. But today we went on a 45-minute walk and we went like 1.1 miles because like she stops so frequently and like I make her sit and all the things. But
Yeah.
yeah, I digress.
That's awesome.
Um, what do you feel like are some like key components in like either your daily schedule or weekly schedule that, now are kind of non-negotiables for you?
um, I am really working on setting boundaries. Um, uh, with this market. And, it's been 2.5 years of going at, 1,500 miles a minute.
Yeah.
And it's in order for me to continue to stay in this business that I absolutely love, I need to create stronger boundaries around my availability. And so one of the things that I'm going to be doing that I just decided yesterday, I'm going to get a private number, a number that is not that does not have a new phone with a private number that won't have my work email on it. It's only for friends, family, a few clients, and some agents that I work with on a consistent basis, and of course my team. And if you want to talk to me outside of hours that I don't have my work phone, I'm going to have an automated, you can call my assistant at this number or the team line at this number, and they can assist you, because this business will take over your life if you let it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to regain control over that.
I like that.
So, yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to be able to go to dinner with a different phone where I'm not constantly checking it to see like the endless text messages and emails coming in.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
talked to someone the other day that has 3 phone numbers. And like one is like
Wow.
just family, one is like, friends and whatever, and then one is like the work number. I was like, I wonder which one I have. I don't want to ask because like what if I just have the work number? So I didn't dive deeper into that one.
I'll give you my personal number.
I mean, it's not like I'm hitting you up,
Yeah.
we like
No.
just joke around and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, no, it was like they were telling me this and I was like the breakdown of numbers. I was like, I'm just not gonna ask. I don't know if the number I have is Googleable or not, but I'm not gonna ask.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna hit you with one final question. It stumps people a lot, so we'll see what you think. All
Oh
right.
boy.
If it was your last meal on earth, what would you be eating?
Oh my God. Easy. At Nobu, they have this hamachi crudo that is unbelievable. It's got like ponzu sauce and like some jalapeno and a little cilantro. It is the best. I would get like 10 orders because, of course, it's like little teeny
Yeah,
tiny.
it's like one bite.
But, yeah, I'd do like 10 of those. I'd be set.
I love it. Have you had the hamachi at Uchi?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All
Also
right.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uchi is like dangerously close to my house. Like I can walk there in like 4 minutes. It's dangerous.
That's like so good and so bad.
Yeah.
Obviously we have one here in Houston as well. It's one of my favorite restaurants. But at least Nobu, there isn't one in Austin, right?
No, there's not. But they're kind of around the country. They also have
Yeah.
like Matsuhisa, which is the same
Yeah.
one.
So
But even when I go to a regular sushi place, I'm like, can you do like a hamachi crudo with some? I mean, I like basically give them the
yeah,
instructions.
that's
So
funny. I like it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if you have to travel to Dallas would probably be the closest, Nobu. Like you're not getting it
Mhm.
every week. So,
No.
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, Wade, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hopping on today. If someone wanted to get in touch with you, where's the best place for them to find you on social?
Social, my Instagram is at WadeATX. We also have Our team Instagram or social media at _Giles_group. So those are the easiest ways to follow us. And we've got tons of fun new content coming out all the time. So check
Awesome.
us
Well,
out.
I am excited to see it. If you ever need anything in Austin, Texas, the Giles Group and Wade are the people to go to. Again, Wade, thank you so much for your time today, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Katie. It's a pleasure seeing you. Take care.